Hi, folks. We'll be starting off in 5 minutes. Just waiting for a few folks to join, and then we'll get started in 5 minutes from now.
Yes, sounds good.
Sure, Prithvi.
Perhaps we can get started. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are joining in. This is Prithvi Raj, the community manager for the Litmus Chaos project. And I think first and foremost, I would like to congratulate everyone here on 2.0 GA, and thanks a lot everyone for being an amazing community. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have you all as community members for this awesome project called Litmus Chaos. So before I move on to the agenda, I think we have some new folks who are joining us for this community sync up call. So I would just allow the new folks to introduce themselves, from where they are and what they are working and how they are pursuing Litmus, and perhaps then we can get started with the agenda and allow the folks to join in. So as I can see a few new folks who have joined in, I think Aman Dwivedi, perhaps you can just unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the community.
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Aman, you are.
Yes, so myself Aman Dwivedi, I'm a recent undergrad in IIT ISM Dhanbad, India. So I'm looking forward to contribute in LitmusChaos. I've also applied for LFX mentorship program under LitmusChaos. I was also a Google Summer of Code student with Fossology this summer. So yeah, I'm looking forward to contribute in LitmusChaos and learn from you all. So yeah.
Awesome, Aman, looking forward to your application. We have Chandan Kumar Pradhan, perhaps if you would want to unmute yourself and just introduce. I guess Chandan cannot hear us. Perhaps whenever you're able to hear us, you can introduce yourself. Kiran.
Hi, Prithvi Raj. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Kiran, we can hear you. Perhaps you can go ahead introducing yourself.
Yeah, so I'm currently working on SRE and performance engineering, and basically my background is Java JT developer, and eventually I converted into SRE and perf based on the need in the industry. So I'm trying to utilize the Chaos, Litmus, especially Litmus. At the moment, I'm setting up the Litmus portal for my personal use as well as in the office use. I'm working for a retail company, Lowe's.
Thanks, Kiran. Thanks a lot for the introduction. Hopefully, we are able to help you introduce chaos in your infrastructure and you can easily get started with Litmus. Feel free to let us know if you have any issues. I see you have posted some questions in the community. Hopefully, our community members are able to answer them. Next up, Manoj Aladakati. Perhaps you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Hello guys, you can hear me, right?
Yes, Manoj, we can hear you.
Yeah, this is Manoj here, and I'm basically based in Bangalore, and I'm working for Dell EMC, and along with me from the same company, I have Somesh here on the call. Yeah, so we are working for Dell EMC, and we have a couple of streaming products. One is known as Pravega. It's an open source project from Dell. And one more, using the same open source product, we have an enterprise product called the Streaming Data Platform. So for testing the fault injection on both the platforms, right, we have been actively using the LitmusChaos.
Oh, that's awesome, Manoj. Thanks for the information. Yeah. Last up, I think we have got Sushrut. Sushrut, perhaps if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sushrut. I work at Input, United States, San Diego location. I'm here with my teammate Sean and the chaos engineering team that introduced the Litmus platform. So we're just getting started. We have a few customers there. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sushrut, we can hear you, but it's been a bit dim. But I think I was able to hear you, and thanks a lot for joining in. I think Sean has been a community member since long, so nice to see you and Sean joining in from Intuit. Great. Okay, last up, I think we missed out on one room. I think it's Remy. So Remy, perhaps you can just unmute yourself and introduce.
Yes. yes. Hello, everyone. So I'm Remy. I'm working currently as DevOps for Pôle Emploi, a French company, and I'm trying to deploy Litmus and write scenario workflows for the society. So, and I'm really happy to join this community and participate to this project. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Remy, for the introduction. So now perhaps we can get started with the agenda in hand, and then we can get started with the community call. So let me share my screen with the agenda. Just give me a second. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. So perhaps as we started off with the introduction of new members on the call, and we look forward to help you and use chaos tests with Litmus or your contributions. So a quick community roundup won't take a lot of time. First of all, again, as I mentioned, congratulations to the team on 2.0 release, and then 2.0 being in GA, and we look forward to the upcoming edition. So feel free to put forward your feedback. And next up, a lot of things are happening in the community, but a few things I would like to point out are a few resources that will help you get started with 2.0 is, first of all, the raw code live video which streamed on the 27th of July. So I'll be sharing the links, but this is hands-on with Litmus 2.0 features everything about 2.0, and a lot of questions have been answered here. So So I think this is something which will help you get started with Litmus. And second up, a shout out to Victor Farchich from Upbound for making this amazing video on Litmus 2.0 and titled Chaos Engineering Meets Argo Workflows. It's part of the DevOps Toolkit series, and it just came out a couple of days ago. So again, shout out to him for making this up and putting out an honest feedback on 2.0. And lastly, congratulations to Uma and Summer from Orange on being selected for KubeCon NA. I mean, it's amazing to see Litmus featuring on at KubeCon since the past few editions, and we are looking forward to this talk called Improving Resilience of Applications in Telco Environments, which features the telco use case with Orange at KubeCon NA 2021. And other than that, a few folks are obviously participating at KCD UK and so many community events. So shout out to them, and feel free to write any blogs or come up with anything for the community to actually bolster what the LitmusChaos community is already having. So next up, we have got Learning LitmusChaos. I mean, Michael K from TPG Telecom. I mean, shout out to him that he's staying awake for so long. I mean, he's from Australia, and it's already too late out there, but he's awake and he's come up with an amazing course. So I'll allow Michael to take it from here.
Yes. Thank you. So it's good night for me. Yeah, I'm nearly falling asleep, but yeah, I'm very excited anyway, because this month is not only a big release of Litmus 2, but also actual release. We published the first Udemy course on LitmusChaos and related technologies, and it's a huge work by a number of LitmusChaos folks like Nilanjan, who is currently in the chat as I see, Adarsh, Akash, and certainly we have been working closely with Karsik on the structure of the course. I took plenty of real-life scenarios from my different customers. I'm working as a DevOps consultant. Yeah, and it was quite nice to get back to teaching students, because I did it in the past. I got my doctoral degree in computer science in 2006. So you can calculate my age, sorry. I'm not that young. Yeah, but you know, it makes me feel much younger when I do new stuff. So it's kind of first course for me, and I'm very happy that it already has 60 students, and all ratings are positive. It will help promote LitmusChaos and quality in general in the community. So I, per discussion with Karsik and the organizers of this call, I took pleasure to prepare the best price. It's like $5, I guess, for the course discount, and the link is included in this chat. So if you click on the link, you're not paying money, okay? So you just can open, and there are plenty of preview resources there, including introduction by Karsik and so some words about me. You can look through the contents of the course. It also actually mentions Argo workflows, as Prithvi just mentioned. It's quite popular nowadays for orchestration of everything in cloud native environments, and you know, a quite cool tool to work with Litmus together. Yeah, so please feel free to have a look, and yeah, that's me. So if you guys like the course, please don't forget to leave. Yeah, so the discount code is here. So let me post. So the discount code is actually this 6 letters litcom. Yeah, so you will get the best price. And if you guys like the course, please don't forget to kindly put 5 stars and leave a text comment why you like it, because it will help the Udemy engine, which works like YouTube, you know, to position LitmusChaos to right people and in general improve quality. And it also allow me to a little bit monetize my hard work over recent, I guess, 4 months. Yeah, thanks so much. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. I'm in Litmus community in the Slack channel Litmus, so all good.
Thanks a lot, Michael. I mean, the course is amazing. Do we have any questions for him now? You can unmute yourself or ask them in chat. Or I think Ajesh and Michael both have shared the link to the course, so feel free to check it out.
Yes, please don't forget to enter the discount. Yeah, I want it to be as cheap as possible for the right folks, you know. Yeah, and speaking of contents, I'm very happy. So now Litmus 2 is generally available, and it's quite stable now. So the course already has a number of resources about Litmus 2 microservices, new ones, and we are working very hard on inclusion of even more resources around cool features of Litmus 2 in the context of that course. But it already has a lot of good stuff, so don't wait and check it out. If you buy it today, it is with you for a lifetime, and I will keep updating it. We just recently had a discussion with key people at Chaos Native, so yeah, the work, the show must go on, you know. Yeah, thank you so much.
Indeed.
Sorry for my voice, because yeah, it's I guess nearly 3 a.m. in Sydney. Yeah, there are not many kangaroos jumping around. Everyone is asleep. All right.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Appreciate it, and looking forward to the course as well. So moving on, I think, not wasting any more time, we can have Somesh from Pravega Delhi MC. He's been working with the Pravega CNCF project since a long time, and they've been using Litmus since a long time. So I would love to invite Somesh, but before that, I think we have a few more folks from Pravega as well. Derek is here, and I think even Manoj is from the same team. So perhaps Derek can just, perhaps if he before we move on to the demo, I think Derek, if he wants to, can just introduce the Pravega project to the folks and talk a little bit about Pravega, and then we can move on to the demo by Somesh.
Yeah, sure. Interrupt me if my voice is breaking up or if my connection is bad. But,
perhaps it's a little bit low, Derek. Perhaps we can, if possible, we can just increase the volume.
Oh, I see. I'm on the wrong microphone. 1 second. Okay, I'll have to use my laptop mic. Hopefully this is better, but
yeah, this is better now.
Okay. I have a studio mic, but it's not appearing right now, so I'll just go with this. Anyway, yeah, I'm the community manager for Pravega. Like LitmusChaos, Pravega is a sandbox project at the CNCF. And like we said previously, we've been using LitmusChaos, I think, for about a year in our internal testing to ensure that the streaming data platform that we're building on top of Pravega is resilient. Pravega is a streaming storage engine, very similar to Pulsar or Kafka, but we're sort of focused on being a storage system first. So our semantics for streams are slightly different than other message buses, but in general, we provide message bus-like semantics. Although we can also store byte streams like like live streams, or we have a GStreamer plugins, so you can actually store multimedia, continuous multimedia on Pravega. So we have, I guess, also some additional use cases that other message buses don't provide, as our emphasis on storage. We're a project coming out of Dell EMC, which is a big enterprise storage company. and our experience with other messaging systems, we found that we needed to develop something new to meet all of our use cases, to simplify development, to simplify administration, and so forth. So that's kind of the goal of Pravega and the orientation of it. And we're in the process of, I guess, opening up the tools that Somesh will show in our use of LitmusChaos so that we can educate our community as to how to use LitmusChaos themselves, in their productizations of Pravega. So I guess that's my introduction.
Thanks a lot, Derek. I think that was awesome, and looking forward to more collaboration in the community. And folks, feel free to ask any questions related to Pravega as well to Derek, Somesh, Manoj, and I think Sheetal has also joined. So if you have any questions related to that, so without any further delay, I'll allow Somesh to take it forward from here, talking about chaos use cases with LitmusChaos at Pravega. Thank you.
Hello everyone. For briefing out all related stuff to the community. So as said, I'll be the team on behalf of the FI test cases execution, the fault injection scenarios that we perform on our product Pravega to identify the failure behaviors of our system when we introduce the common or the expected failure scenarios over a Kubernetes system as a product is deployed on the same environment. So basically, I'll start with the Litmus setup introduction. So I'll start with sharing my screen here. Yeah. So the setup is very simple. It's a 4-step process. First, we install the Litmus operator here. Then we go with the chaos experiments. And with this, we get the functionality to use chaos experiments through running the chaos engine here. And finally, we have some integrations available from the chaos side to examine our fault test over the system based on its result output. And we do have certain cross validations, which I'll be showing in the demo, how we validate on our end also that the expected fault which we wanted to introduce over the system took place in the right manner. And so the initial step, as I mentioned, we go with just the Litmus operator installation, which is as simple as running a kubectl command with the corresponding image for which we desire to install the Litmus operator here. As we deploy the Litmus, as we run this command, we should see certain resources getting deployed on our system parallelly. So as this process gets successful, we tend to see a Litmus operator pod in the same cluster where we desire to inject our faults via LitmusChaos, and certain custom resources that we would be using in our experiments will also be available there. I'll just show my cluster where the same versions, the same resources we can cross check. So this is the cluster. As I mentioned, certain resources that will be seen after the Litmus operator successful installation are here. We see a pod in Litmus namespace, the LitmusChaos operator pod, and these are the CRDs which can be checked uh, upon uh, a successful installation of the operator, enabling us with this resources, the Kubernetes resources that we get here. So the next step would be, once the operator is installed, we go with the experiments installation, which gives us the tools or the actual experiments that we want to perform. The faults that we want to induce in our cluster are all available after we run the Litmus experiment here, like common scenarios of pod network losses, pod network latency losses, and CPU hog, such common fault injection experiments we get here. And this process is also quite simple. We have to install with the right manifest to the same version that will be for the same um, um, qualification. We need to install the corresponding experiment manifest, and the same resources gets installed here. Uh, we can see here in the cluster in like I have already installed the chaos experiment. So this is the list of chaos experiments that we'll be getting in turn. Right after that comes the action part, running the chaos engine. So here we start the chaos engine for our desired chaos experiment. One at a time will be going. Like for example, I am choosing here pod network loss fault injection scenario for my cluster. So I have to go with the installation of its respective service account, which will enable us to perform the network loss scenario over the cluster. And then we get something like this here in that cluster. So this is the pod a network loss service account that I had installed, and we can see the same is running here. With this, we can go with the chaos engine manifest, where we get all sorts of parameter that are useful to describe how is the experiment, the fault injection test is going to run over our system, like which is the target container here on which we desire to inject the fault, how long the chaos is going to take place over the same resource, and its useful image or the exact uh, engine that we'll be using here. So one of the important parameter, how much percentage of network loss we want to see getting injected over our targeted resource. So these are the few parameters that we have to specify in order for the chaos to take place as we expect. So this is the manifest that I'm using here for the system. where as seen in the wiki, I have mentioned the target container as Pravega segment store. This is the segment store component of our Pravega distributed system, where I'm targeting instance segment store 0 here with its respective image, the engine image, and I'm selecting I'm configuring here the network loss percentage as 30% and chaos duration as just 300 seconds or a 5 minutes of fault all totally. And with this, we'll just start injecting the fault over our system. So this is our cluster here, and as mentioned, I'm targeting this through these two pods here for injecting the pod loss fault. So basically what happens here when we inject this fault, we expect to see some packet losses happening whenever there is a connection being made and data is been exchanged over this component. So at present, since I haven't started the chaos engine and things are just at the normal level, if we could just ping the same pod here, like if you see these two pods have their internal IPs as 17 and 19 ending here. The same IPs, if I try to ping, I see here there's almost or absolute no packet loss here. So all the packets that were transmitted got received successfully when like as expected. I haven't started the chaos, so things are normal. Just validating before injecting the chaos to the system. So both the pods are in healthy state with no packet losses. And I have a background IO running here, which is continuously writing and reading around 10 kbps of record per second events. That is the workload being generated here. So we have our dashboard to monitor the same. And as we see here, there's the live event injection and read rate here, 10.5 kbps over our Pravega stream. So this is just a sample workload. We can see there is a uniform behavior here in the IO, and there's no disruption as possibly seen here. So things are there's all are the background verifications we do before starting the chaos in order to check how the cluster behaves when we introduce the fault, and are we able to recover from the same failure or not if such a thing happens in a live system. So this is a simple script here which I'll be using to introduce the chaos for both the available segments to instances consecutively. So this is the script I'm running here. So I have started the chaos engine, as I mentioned here in the wiki. Like if we are ready with the operator and the chaos experiments been installed, we are ready to inject the faults. Hence, I've started the chaos engine here, and it has started for both the segments to instances that we have deployed in the cluster. So we can see here the chaos runner pods been deployed here successfully on the cluster, which in turn installs the chaos pods for 2 pods each for the targeted instance. So we have all totally 4 plus 2, 6 pods here additionally installed as we start the engine. And now if we check how is the same component responding when we introduce a 30% of network loss here, we can see so exactly we see here 30% of packet losses taking place for the same component. That means 7 out of 10 packets are only received at the send. That means there are packets been blocked by the LitmusChaos tool here before reaching to this component. And same goes with the other instance. It could be plus minus 10 when we introduce the chaos. So it's in the expected range here, 40%. And if you see the IO, it was earlier in a uniform 10 kbps flow, but now there are some disruptions happening as the fault has been introduced over the system. So this total chaos as mentioned and shown is just for 5 minutes or 300 seconds. So we expect the same fault to be running for 5 minutes and continuously seeing the same behavior from the segment store pods here. Like 30% of packet loss being experienced by these components. So 40 here. Simultaneously, if we check the IO, since we see there is some packet loss there happening, so even the IO gets affected during the chaos. There are some ups and downs graphs that we can see on the metrics, some spikes. Almost half the period is over. So we have a fourth step to explain here, which was after we introduce the faults, we have certain utilities from the chaos which we can validate to see how has our fault injection test completed over the system. Like if all the parameters match as expected, the status will get updated as completed with pass result. And if something unusual happens or things goes unexpected, the status would change to fail here. So I'll just show the same resources here. If we do check, so since I introduced it for 2 pod instances, so there are 2 result resources being running here. If I describe each, the status here, it shows us the chaos is still in the running mode and the final result is yet to be updated, as it depends on the overall period over which the fault is introduced. So one of them has completed now. Both has completed. And we can see slowly the pods that were installed by the chaos engine are changing its status to the task completion state. And now if we check here, the IO seems to be resumed to its expected state of uniformity. How about the packet loss behavior from the same instances where we had seen some loss earlier? So it is free from any of the packet losses now, as it was previously. Yeah, so it seems the process of introducing the fault here has gracefully completed with as the chaos period gets over. We see the component has come back to its original state of no packet loss or healthy state, which is very important whenever we run any fault injection mechanism over our cluster. After the fault period is over, it is very important for the same instance to get freed from the chaos that was injected earlier. So now we can check what does the chaos result tells us. Yeah, since everything has completed in the graceful manner, so the final result is also updated as pass, and we get the pass message here. That was for first instance. Similarly, for the second instance, if we see, we are getting the same here. That means both have passed successfully, both tests, and the system has recovered after the fault period got over. So just for a cross check on the metrics side also, we can see yeah, the normal state is recovered again. So we are getting what we were seeing previously. There is things in the stable state here. So these are the 4 parts of chaos through Litmus. And this is how we validate it on our systems using the same chaos utilities and some of our additional validation points. I'm done with the demo here. So any doubts, please come up now.
Thanks a lot, Sumesh. Do we have any questions for Sumesh?
Maybe one question from the sake of the community. So when we run this, I could say that you are running this test for a pretty long period, like that it's 1,000 seconds or so. So do we encounter any faults which helped to fix in your product running this chaos?
Yeah, like in the initial stages of bringing stability to the product, I think we had used the standards there, like do it now for 5 minutes, and we have improved ourselves testing or validating on the same grounds.
Thank you. And one more question on top of that. Other than network loss, what other tests do you cover?
We do run the pod network latency experiment here, sometimes CPU hog, and also adapting soon on the automation side, so that we get the privilege of chaos experiments also that the chaos tool provides.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ajit.
Thanks a lot, Somesh. I think this was good, and thanks a lot for presenting. And we look forward to the review from the Prevega team on 2.0 whenever they get started. So that will be great.
Sure, Prithvi. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do this.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Thanks.
So next up, I think the last agenda item for today, that is walking through 2.0. So perhaps I would invite Karthik, who just joined in a few minutes ago, to just give us a walkthrough of Litmus 2.0, which just had its GA launch, and then we can wind up. So Karthik, perhaps you can, and then we can perhaps have an open floor discussion if time suffices, and you can ask any questions if you want.
All right, thanks, Prithvi. I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible.
Yes, Karthik.
Great. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all. I think the long pending release of 2.0 has finally happened. We've got the GA build out. It has been in beta for a long time now, I think 6 months or so. And I'd like to thank the community for all their feedback and for all their beta test efforts and all the interesting issues that they created and the general direction that they pushed us towards. So I see a lot of folks in today's call who've helped us through this process. We have Michael here, we have Radu, we have Shananwar, we have Remy.
I'm still not asleep. I wanted to wait for the main part.
Yeah, thank you for staying awake, Michael. I was basically expecting you to go to sleep immediately after you introduce the course, but you stayed on. So
maybe
thank you
I
so
can
much.
optimize. If I don't sleep at all, then my day has 48 hours. Very good.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you all for basically helping us with the different requirements. 1.x to 2.0 has been a great journey, a lot of value add for practitioners of chaos. This is a summarization which I'm sure a lot of you are already aware about what 2.0 brings: the chaos center, the Litmus workflows, the ability to do multi-tenant chaos engineering, that is have a single control plane and different chaos environments or targets, different clusters that you can register onto the chaos center and run them. Observability and steady state hypothesis validation using probes, which have matured significantly since the time we introduced it. Some of these features continue to get polished and optimized. So I'd like to bring to your notice that the architectural validation for a lot of these features is what was carried out as part of the beta release, as part of the beta testing. And once the validation was done, we brought it into mainstream. Subsequent releases, the 2.x, 2.0 minor releases that will happen henceforth, will go ahead and add more polish and more capabilities around these broader concepts that we've introduced. Non-Kubernetes chaos is picking up as well. We have a basic set of experiments on AWS, GCP, Azure, and VMware, mostly around being able to take down instances, detach disks, along with steady-state validation native to these platforms. But there are more in-VM chaos capabilities that are coming in. So in case you have a hybrid model where some of your services run on Kubernetes and some runs on cloud instances, you will be able to subject the VMs there to network and stress chaos as well, just like you are able to do it in pods today. So that these are the broad capabilities that 2.0 brings. GitOps is something that a lot of folks are using to ensure that the chaos workflows are stored in a golden source. That is, you have a single source of truth. The golden copies can be placed on GitHub. They can be modified there. They can be fetched, uploaded from there, and executed, etc. I think we can go over a couple of important topics around migration from 1.x to 2.x today. 2.0 is backward compatible. There are a lot of new features, but you can continue to use it in the same style or manner in which you have been using 1.x all along. In case you have been using the operator and the chaos CRs directly, like in the demo that Somesh just showed you some time back, you can continue to do that. So the Litmus operator artifacts continue to be available in the same endpoint here. So you can basically look at the LitmusChaos operator in the GitHub pages. Litmus YAML 1.5, 1.6, you will have a 2.0 equivalent of this as well. In case you would like to spend some more time trying out the new experiments in the older model, you can continue to use this. There's no change in this approach. In case you are trying to install 2.x newly and try it, we'd recommend you to clean up your existing chaos engines, uninstall the operator, and follow the 2.x instruction guide that is available at the refurbished Litmus documentation. The docs.litmuschaos.io has a landing page with different sections that you can go to quickly to help you navigate better. And the getting started section is where you might most probably see why Litmus is useful, and then it has also the installation section wherein you can go and install the help chart or the manifestos in kubectl, get the control plane running, and then start doing chaos against the local cluster using the self agent. And there are some steps to run your first workflow, a predefined workflow that we have added for illustration purposes, which deletes a sample application, a potato head, hello service app, and does chaos against it and gives you details, and also has ability to define HTTP probes as part of steady-state validation. So you can follow the steps here to install it and run your first workflow. In case you're already a beta tester and you have been using beta releases, the most recent one was 2.0 beta 9. You're migrating from there to 2.0 GA. You can follow the upgrade procedure that we have documented. You just need to disconnect your agents, do a Helm upgrade or a manifest-based upgrade, and then reconnect your agent. That is the step that you need to perform. So this is about migration. So like I said, it is backward compatible. What we do not have today is you already have chaos engines run as part of your 1.x runs or your 2.x operator runs. We do not recognize them as valid workflows once you install the chaos center. You would need to start executing workflows from the chaos center freshly. That's the only change. Like I said, the documentation has undergone a significant amount of changes. There are a couple of documentation sites, one leading to another. The first is the docs.litmuschaos.io, which has a user guide and a concept section, and also has architectural information about Litmus. And in case you're looking at experiment specifics, how to tune your experiments in greater detail rather than just use defaults, you can use the GitHub pages here which actually is linked from your landing page on the docs.litmuschaos.io, where you will find different experiments, and each experiment, how it runs, what are its uses, and what are the prerequisites to run it, the different experiment tunables associated with it, and then different examples that leverage those tunables explained in the tunables section. So you will find all that information here. Please feel free to take a look at this documentation as well. We are in the process of adding more tutorials. Tutorials are a good way to sort of start with an objective, learning objective, and then complete a small workshop that you would like to do with Litmus. There's one tutorial that helps you to get started. There are other tutorials that can help you do other things which are coming very soon. So please stay tuned on that. As far as the fixes that went in over the last month between beta 9 to GA, there are a lot of fixes on the experiment part, minor enhancements around UI and UX on the Chaos Center. You have API documentation that we've sort of showed up as part of the release. So in case you're interested in running the experiments not through the Chaos Center dashboard, but you want to do it programmatically, you can take a look at the APIs. There is both auth and experiment workflow related APIs that you will find here. So that is about the migration and what we've done. Most of the fixes that went in on the experiment sides are related to some edge cases around aborts and about introducing abort capabilities for exec-based experiments. You already know that the CPU and memory hog experiments have a non-exec mode today, where you can enter the process namespace and PID namespace and inject chaos. But if you're following the older approach of using bash commands to do CPU chaos by executing into the pod, that was the older model of running these experiments, then there were some abort enhancements that we have made there. That's about what we've done, what is the 2.0 release about, and how you can migrate, etc. We've also started an initiative. This is not just about Litmus, but general chaos engineering. So if you are new to chaos engineering and planning to learn about it, there's a lot of information on the net. It's overwhelming, really. So if you are looking at something simplified, one-stop shop for learning chaos engineering, cloud native systems, there's a working group that has got started. Please add yourself as interested parties in this chaos engineering work group. We will add you to the mailing list and send you details of when we are conducting these working group meetings and what we're planning as part of that. You can come and present your chaos engineering story and enable us to sort of glean learnings from your learnings and then put that inside of a white paper. There's a dictionary that is available today that you can take a look at. It's not alphabetically sorted, but has information about chaos engineering in the manner of discovery and learning. So you go from what is chaos engineering to its principles to how you basically create an experiment and how do you conduct it, what are the important things you need to visualize as you do the experiments, in that order of things. So please feel free to check out 2.0 and also take a look at the work group and join us in these work group discussions. And there are going to be workshops conducted around how you can leverage 2.0. We will inform you that on the Slack channel, the Kubernetes Slack channel, on when these are going to be conducted. You can join in and learn about some of these features in more detail. There's also upcoming 2.0 sections in Michael's course, which he has briefed you about. And that's something that is going to give you practical real-world examples of how you can leverage 2.0 in your day-to-day chaos engineering practice. So once again, thank you very much for helping us through the release. This is a significant milestone 1.x to 2.0 packs in a lot of features, and then we're committed to improving upon the platform and make it truly end-to-end platform for chaos engineering. So continue to keep your feedback coming through issues, Slack discussions, PRs. The Slack channel is getting more vibrant by the day, and a lot of the questions that you may have in your mind about Litmus, you might automatically see that getting answered in the Slack discussions. So do join our Slack channel and keep your feedback and support coming. I think that's all I had to cover. I think you can take over.
Thanks a lot, Karthik. I think we are over time, but I'll open the floor for any questions or anything that anyone has to add, and perhaps then we can wind up.
Hi, Prithvi. This is Kiran.
Hi, Kiran.
I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you're able to see.
Yes, Kiran, your screen is visible.
Yeah, I have started using 2.0, Litmus 2.0 portal. I have set up the Litmus 2.0 portal. It's up currently. I'm using the self agent. Before I proceed to the current issue, right? So we can use it. Ours is a RKE environment, Rancher Kubernetes based environment. So I just want to clarify, we can use Litmus workflows to experiment the RKE as well, correct?
Yes, Ken. So we have had instances of users running 1.x on RKE. 2.0 is something that the Litmus maintenance team has not tested the interoperability, but 2.0 should run on any Kubernetes cluster, so you should be able to run it on RKE as well.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm able to set up the portal, right? After that, I started a simple potato head workflow. So when I'm starting this, it's getting into this mode and stuck here. Whereas the potato head, the initial itself, it is stuck. When I go to the images or the containers in the VM, are you able to see my screen still?
Yes.
Oh, great. So this is a Windows 2019 OS. It's running on Windows 2019 OS. So I could see that this potato head is in error state. Okay. So when I describe this, I'm getting this back off pulling image. I could see the similar kind of issue for setting up the portal as well. The regular portal, the front end, back end, and Mongo. So I had to pull the images manually, and then I was able to succeed to set up the portal. Okay. So and then I started the simple workflow, and then similar issue I'm observing it in workflow as well. How can I resolve this one?
All right. This is interesting. It says back of trying to pull the image, which basically means.
Yeah, I can resolve this. I know how to resolve this also, but it's manually, like doing like a Docker pull by giving the full image, and then it will retry automatically, right? Because of the deployment policy, and then after a while it will come up. This is how in the front end pod or the back end and the Mongo also I fix them.
I have seen cases where there are late limits enforced because we have the images in Docker Hub. So unless you have authenticated,
yes,
probably you might face issues in pulling the images.
Yeah,
I did authenticate within a certain time.
Yeah, so I'm authenticated here. After that, everything went well. I'm authenticated in the Docker Hub, but it's a normal, 200 requests per 6 hours. But again, immediately as soon as I start the kubectl apply for the 2.0 path, right? So immediately as soon as I do that, it gives me that 2 minute limits, 2 minute limits. Even though for the past 8 hours I've not worked on the pulling part, it's immediately gives me this image back off or image too many requests to pull. But in that case, I have to do that Docker pull manually, and then it picks up automatically.
When you say Docker pull manually, have you been doing that on the nodes where the pods are expected to run, or your cluster nodes?
Yes, it's on the same single node I'm doing it.
Yeah,
like,
okay, you mentioned it is okay.
Yeah, I'm currently pulling it, right? You will see that it will resolve automatically. I hold this one just so that I can show this issue, Prithvi.
Cool. So there's one thing that we're doing from our side on resolving this pull limits. We will be pushing these images into Docker as well as Kubernetes, which is another image registry. And you will find that there are people who are consuming things from Docker Hub and would like it there. But there are also folks who face the limits issue. So we're putting it to both registries to aid the folks that who don't want to be limited by the Docker Hub. There is a couple of PRs already that has been submitted, which makes or templatizes the image registry, which we are pushing as part of the build process and build and push process. And we just need to start pushing it into the other registries. That's something that we might probably get added by 2.1. And that might ease your issue in trying to pull the images, Kiran. I think as of today, I think you would, depending upon the environment that you're running in, whether it is a public cluster or whether it is something that's behind a firewall, depends upon how you're authenticated, how you're pulling the images before you actually get them to run. So that is something that on our side we are going to resolve by giving you an alternate registry option. That's something you can look forward to in 2.1.
Yeah, sure. I have included this one also, the lens, so that I can troubleshoot the issues quickly. Maybe you can also use for the local setup to see that what's happening under the single node desktop, Docker desktop. Also,
I think Remy has a question. I think it is Docker desktop that you're running on now, but you eventually like to run it on RKE. Is that a fair understanding?
yeah, the target system will be in RKE, but the portal can be run on the Docker desktop, right?
Yeah.
So
okay,
basically, the portal, Litmus portal, can be outside the target system. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to achieve. The Litmus portal, we would like to keep it outside, whereas the target system will be the RKE environment. We have multiple RKE clusters, so we can pick like 4101 is one of our store number. Example I'm giving. So we'll target the 4101 first using the same Litmus portal, and then finish all the experiments there, and then move to a different cluster. That's our future plan. Currently, we are targeting one store 4101, which is like a RKE cluster.
Great, got it.
So in the meanwhile, I can pull the manual, right? I can go ahead and pull the images manually and then continue with this approach. Is that fine?
Yeah, as long as you do have the images, I think you can also sort of make them, if not present, as the policy inside the, once you've got the first deployment done, you can change the image pull policy so that you don't have to face the problem of things getting pulled again and again.
Yeah, so image pull policy. Yeah, image pull policy. Where can I change this? Because I'm using this one, 2.0 YAML. I think you can update this Litmus 2.0 YAML, right?
Yes,
by changing
the control plane, as far as the control plane goes, for MongoDB server and front end, you can change the pull policy in this YAML and apply it. As far as the agents go, the first deployment will still be, I think, with always, I think Raj or Vedant, one of you can correct me if it is already, if not present. If it isn't, then post the first deployment, you can change the policy by manually updating the manifest or updating the deployment live on the cluster. As far as the experiment goes, because the experiment is also going to make use of the Litmus runners, the pods that are going to be launched as part of the experiment will make use of a Go runner image. You have the option of setting the pull policies for that within the CRs. Let me just share my screen and show you. It's a one-time activity for the control plane and the agents, but for the experiments, you might probably run different experiments, I assume. So you have the chaos engine definition here and the chaos experiment. In both the chaos experiment mainly. So let me show you the experiment tutorials section. So there is a spec.definition image pull policy that you can use. I think it is in one of these tables. You can go ahead. Yeah, there is an image in the image pull policy. You can set this to if not present while you use this CR. So on the Litmus portal, when you're running the experiment, you will see that the workflow manifest embeds this experiment CR within the workflow. Before you run it, you can edit experiment YAML using the wizard. There's a step that you might have noticed, edit experiment YAML, where you can set the image pull policy to if not present before you launch the workflow. That way, it will ensure that you don't have to pull it again and again.
Yeah, got it, Karthik. I will try and let you know, Karthik,
Sure.
in the Slack channel.
Yeah, and thank you for trying this on RKE. I'm sure that it benefits the other community folks as well. Both Docker desktop and RKE can then be added as platforms on which we tested in the interoperability metrics that we're planning to create. So that helps us a lot. Thank you.
Got it. Yeah. Thanks, Karthik and Prithviraj.
Thanks a lot, Kiran. I think we are about time. We missed out on Radu. Radu is from Red Hat, so just taking a couple of minutes so that Radu can introduce himself and just talk about his journey with Litmus, if he has anything to share, and then we wind up.
Hello. So yeah, as you said, I'm Radu. I'm working in EMEA for Red Hat. I work as a consultant. I started to work with Litmus beginning of this year, when one of my customers wanted to implement some automation for resilience testing. I had a very good experience, and I contributed lately to, because I work for Red Hat, we have the OpenShift distribution for Kubernetes, and I try to contribute back to the community to make it more, to basically make more integration between Litmus and Kubernetes. And now looking to 2.0, pretty excited about it. Yeah, already did some tests in the last days, and it's looking very nice. So thank you all for your great work.
Thank you, Radu. And thank you for all the awesome PRs that you sent us. That goes a long way in making Litmus better. And looking forward to continue working with you on making it even better. Thank you.
All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks Radu, and thanks Derek and the Pravega team, Sheetal, Manoj, Sumesh. He's not here anymore, but thanks a lot everyone for joining in and the amazing demos. And we look forward to the next community meetup. Till then, feel free to post your questions or anything that you have on the Litmus Slack, and look forward to see you. Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Karthik.